This is good.
I'll stab myself with a fork for that one. So bad.
Hey, I have ruined some stuff too.
Okay, let's talk. We're gonna switch gears. Let's
Okay.
talk about writing.
Writing. Okay.
You said that you wanted someday to write a book.
Yes.
What kind of a book?
You know, that's part of the problem I'm facing right now. It's like, what did I write about?
What has inspired you? What just plays in your mind over and over again, and you just sit there and enjoy it? Or the scenes in a movie that you rewind and watch over and over again.
Yes.
What are those? So figure out what they are
Okay.
to bribe yourself to write them.
Okay.
Because you're already passionate about it. It's gonna come through the words. Your reader is gonna feel that passion. So
Right.
let's find out what you're passionate about, and let's stitch it together with other things that you love, and let's make that your story.
I keep hearing this over and over. The more you do, the better you get at it.
Mhm.
Kind of like what you're saying with the writing of the book. You keep writing, you just keep writing it, even if you don't feel like it, because eventually it's going to turn out just fine.
Welcome back to the Wax Quill Podcast. Woohoo!
And some people even go up to the extreme of having a notebook where they write down all their favorite color combinations. I'm the kind of person that go with your gut. Let me grab this one. And then I look around, it's like, I think this one will be good. Grab this one. And of course, I have scratch paper and I sit there. I don't think that was going to work. And then I pick another one till I like the look. And that's how I pick my colors.
Well, they just look, they go together so well. Usually for me, because I'm impatient, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at these 10 colors that I freaking love right now. I have to put them all into these 3 flowers. And it sometimes looks really good. Sometimes, most of the time, it does not look good. So you test it out on a scratch paper first to see if you like the combination.
Well, and by this time or to this point though, I kind of know. And I still do that. But there's some combinations that I know work. Like I know this pencil goes with this pencil and this is good. Because like I love this yellow and orange combo.
It's very pretty.
And there's a little bit of red in there, and there's even a little bit of gray in there too.
Really?
Like in the very middle. I don't know if you can see
let me
it.
just stick my face on that. Wow.
In the very,
There
very
it is.
middle, there's a little bit of gray.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is it in this one too?
And this one, no, I think I did a darker blue. And then I like to take a white gel pen and do little tiny details.
Oh, those little dots.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Yes, like I did it on her wings too, and on this, and just sit there, and that's something I've learned.
Wow.
Gel pens are your friends. You have to be careful because sometimes if you're not careful, you smudge it because they smudge really easily, but it's still worth the while.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know any of this.
Yes, and
any of these things.
Let me show you the other one that I kind of like a lot. And I used a reference for this one.
Wow.
So,
whoa.
This page only had the pots with the flowers, right? And I saw somebody in a video doing this. I thought, I can do that too. She did it completely different though, because she used like really dark colors and she did vines and more flowers. And anyways, I was like, well, I'll do it with my own twist.
Wow.
So I did the window panes, I guess. I drew the curtains. I kind of,
this one's killing me. That's so pretty.
right? I love it.
Wow.
And all the different, these have a bunch of colors per item. This one I thought, well, this is going to be a table. So, what color should I use? I think I used a pastel for the background. Then I took a pencil and did a couple pencils, different shades of brown. and they try to do like the wood grain.
I'm gonna hold it up because I don't think. Look at this. Just feast your eyes on this side alone. Look at that.
That
Look at
one
the
took me
wood.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, the snail. He's wearing flowers on his back.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
These are. This
Sorry, I
is-
just held it right in your
No,
face.
that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
That's okay. Let me show you this. I mean, this is not as nice as that because after I got this to begin with, I was at Winco one day and they have a bargain book bin.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I'm gonna look. And this little gem was there. And I only paid $3.98 for it when it's normally $17.95.
Yep.
Right? And because
Worth it.
for
sure.
so worth it.
No regrets.
Because this, well, it's one of those books that it'll ask you to do stuff. I was doing markers. I was using a lot of marker and a lot of gel pens at this time. I wasn't in the colored pencils quite yet. So see, markers, gel pen. Then she puts this page in here because it's that lady again. These cups were empty or like blank, and you just put.
Oh,
The middle.
you added the
I added those things.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
So it's a cutesy stuff.
Ah,
Gel pens, markers. I did some pencil in here too though.
mhm.
But this is not quite as nice as that other stuff. Now this one here, it gives you the vases and they're all empty. So you
And
do
you
all
do
the flowers. Yeah.
Wow.
This took me a minute.
Yeah.
But no shading though.
I want your advice for some things.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep showing you these.
Okay.
See, there's no, oh, look at this one. I can kick myself because I'm an idiot.
Oh no.
He was perfectly fine. And then I was like, oh, he needs a bit more color here. And I forgot that I'd outlined it.
Oh no.
Anyway, so it's ruined.
Oh no.
Oh, I already took
And-
a picture of it though, so hopefully
and
it's
I-
kind of good enough, except it's not because it's not finished yet. Ah!
I wonder what, I mean, if you can lift it up with an eraser still.
Anyway, I just, it doesn't matter. It's
But
fine.
you gotta try the soft pastels seriously, or the chalk. For you seriously, like with the chalk, with the, like I told you, that stuff you use in the classroom, you find the colored ones. You can seriously like put it directly on the paper and then smooth it out with a
Smooth it
sponge
out.
or cotton or something. But yeah,
That's interesting.
where this is black though, that's
Yeah. That's awful. Awful.
I guess you can, I mean, if you need to take another picture of it, you can.
Honestly, I'd probably just take a picture and then just crop in. I would
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
digitally,
you
and I
can-
would fix it.
I was gonna say crop it, yes. Yes,
Oh,
if you can, you have that ability, then most definitely, but I think this is good.
Just-
This is good.
I'll stab myself with a fork for that one. 'cause it's so bad.
Hey, I have ruined some stuff too. I think this one here. I'll show you real quick. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
I think, was it this one? I think I did something with the, oh yeah, I can't see it now. Or maybe it wasn't this one, but once again, so she put flowers on these or plants. Then she gives you the empty pots on this side and you put your plants and such. And I put something with a gel pen. I went like this And I'm like, "Ah, ah." But I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Check this out. Now that,
Whoa.
I know, a lot of gel pen. This is before I discover color pencils. This everything gel pen. Pretty intense, isn't it?
Pretty intense. Yeah.
I like it. At the same time, it's like, wow, it's so in your face.
No, I can only focus on one color at a time.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I think yours are very nice.
Well, I guess.
If you want a little more smooth gradual shifting of colors, like if you want
I will. Because this is at the beginning of the book where he's upset. At the end, when it's all resolved, I do want a very soft pink background.
you might want to try the pastels or the
Okay.
chalk.
Okay. Because with these watercolors, I get carried away because I just love, look at that. Look at how cool that is. Look at that part right there.
Yes.
And I get carried away.
Yes.
But I like it, so I leave it.
Yes. I think, well, it reflects his mood, I think. Don't you think?
Say one more time.
It kind of reflects how he's like
yes.
the turbulence in his mind. You're like the mood.
It goes from here where he's deciding, he came up with his idea and now he's decided on it and it's gonna happen.
Oh, okay.
You know? So it's like, whoa, red. Kaboom.
Yes, yes.
So I don't know. Whereas here he's like, oh, life is normal, but something's changing.
Right.
So and then the colors start to get more, orangey and
I think he's cute.
well, thank you.
I love the big eyes.
Well, I see, I just keep screwing it up.
Oh no.
I sent these in. I've sent the book out to agents, to 22 agents.
Okay.
And I've included my art portfolio. I don't know if I'm doing that the right way, but yeah. So I chose like 6 pictures. That's why I was in a big rush to finish 6 of these. So I could show them, hey, this is what I'm thinking for the book. I've only been rejected by 4 people thus far, but it's, I don't know. I'm not experienced with this. So I'm worried that by the time I'm to the last picture that it won't reflect at all this first one.
Okay.
There's this one.
Oh yeah.
Where the background's done. Then it bled, but I liked it.
Yeah.
But I
See,
just don't know.
Watercolors, I think they're awesome, but they're hard to control. I feel. And do you have like actual watercolors?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Try the watercolor pencils too.
Maybe I should.
Because I mean, at least you can lay it where you want it, right? You can put that layer where you want it, and then like kind of you can control the amount of water and just kind of try to stay. I'm gonna be honest with you, I have not done it yet, but I do have watercolor pencils, and I bought some mixed media paper, and I plan to try it out because I've been curious. I want to do it.
I didn't watercolor pencils. I just thought those were like, oh look, it looks like a watercolor. And I was like, no, that never does. But you actually put water on it.
You can actually put water on them, and then you get the watercolor look.
Yeah, that would probably fix a lot of my problems.
I didn't know that myself, to be honest with you, till not too long ago. It's like, you can use watercolor pencils? What?
Yeah, that would fix a lot of my problems, I think.
Yes, because I think you'd have more control of how much you lay down, where you lay it down. And then, like I said, you control how much water. You can always start with a little bit, and if it doesn't quite work, then you can always add a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Instead of like splash. Oh no! Story of my life. Oh yeah, I did these.
You did that?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I like it.
I
And then I
like
did this,
it.
but I don't actually know how to. I don't like how the flowers are all one color. I did that and then it smeared, and I was like, oh, just smear all of them. It'll look fine.
I mean, with something like this, I mean, you can take gel pen
And add a little more.
and put a little dot on them. I mean, that's
Well, I think
or
that's
some
what it
of
needs.
them.
It just needs a little, so it's not all that dark purple. Just, like the nearest ones, just add a doot, doot, doot.
Although, I mean, in all fairness, though, it's supposed to be from a distance, so I mean, they
Yeah.
probably all look like that anyways. But if you do want to add, you can add a little dot of white randomly. I mean, teeny. Take a fine tip one and just
Get a needle.
little teeny one. Yeah, I liked how you mix
I
the
had a lot of
colors
fun
on
with that
that.
one. That was just
I like that.
venting.
I like it. I like these two. And then you got some sparkly here.
Yes, I have sparkly watercolors.
I did not know. I did
Let
not
me
know there was
show
such
you.
a thing.
There is such a thing. I've only used them on that, and I'm terrified to use them anywhere else.
That is so appropriate. It's a
Yeah.
moon.
So I have a cousin, and I actually have filmed some podcasts with her. I haven't published them though because I'm lame. But yeah, she is the one who was like, "Here, have all this art stuff." She's a professional painter,
Oh,
but she doesn't use a whole lot aside from the paint. So like pastels and chalks, I had no idea. I tried to put them down there, but yeah, look, there they are. I tried to.
oh my,
Color
they're
code them.
teeny.
I know they're little tiny watercolor
Maybe
cakes.
because you don't need a lot,
Little
huh?
bit.
Very nice.
I have a bad habit of saving things for special occasions, but then I never use them. So a special occasion
I do
comes
the
and I
same
don't
thing.
use them because
I
I'm
do-
using the things I'm comfortable with.
Well, and not only that, sometimes you put it away in such a safe place and you can't find it.
Uh-huh.
I've
Yep.
done that so many times. Like, oh, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna put it in this safe place. I'll get it later.
Mhm.
And then sometimes
is it?
years down the road, oh yeah, I had this, and then can't find it.
Yep, it's a problem.
It's like I
problem.
don't even remember where I put it.
Anyway, okay.
See,
That's charcoal. I actually love charcoal. It's just fun. It makes a scratchy sound and it's very satisfying.
I have tried the charcoal and I have a hard time with it because
Yeah.
I like, but I don't know if you notice, I like very precise, fine lines. And there's been times though where I love mechanical pencils to draw with
Because they're so little.
because they're so little. And a lot of times then I'll take a shading, like a normal pencil, a shading pencil, and just kind of go over it when if I wanted thicker lines or where I shaded.
Art.
Yes, it's awesome.
I like the charcoal because I think it's supposed to look kind of scratchy.
Yeah.
And so for my lack of patience,
Yes.
Oh, it looks good.
Well, did you know there's such a thing as rough sketching?
That's probably what I would do.
Basically when you some people have their sketchbooks and they have charcoal or one pencil that's fairly thick and dark, and you just something that's supposed to take you no more than 5 minutes.
That's what I'd like to do, is just, okay, quick. There it is, recognizable.
Right. You see, because I mean, it doesn't have to be, it's not supposed to be perfect or exactly the same, or that's why they call it a rough sketch, because it's the concept of it. And if you capture it, that's all you need. See, like this is pretty good.
Granted, it's a very chaotic scene.
Yes. Hey, when children are involved, there's always chaos.
Well, he's in the bathroom intentionally making a mess. So,
yeah, exactly.
Floss and toothpaste and
He has a plunger on
He's
his
got a
head.
plunger on his head, and there's a toothbrush in the toilet. Yeah, lotion and stuff everywhere. So obviously it'll be a lot clearer with color, because the lotion can be one color and the toothpaste can be one color. And okay, let's talk. We're gonna switch gears. Let's talk
Okay.
about writing.
Writing. Okay.
You said that you wanted someday to write a book.
Yes.
What kind of a book?
That's part of the problem I'm facing right now. It's like, what do I write about? Because there's the romance ones, the mafia ones, they're all so done. Everybody's doing that. I want to do something different. But
Mhm.
what? I don't know. and
Yeah.
and something clean too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because a lot of it is not the cleanest.
See, I thought it was kind of weird to want non-spice books, but as I'm trying to connect with more authors, and even readers, if you're a reader and you want to be on the show, send me a message on Instagram. Anyway, there's actually a whole community.
Oh yeah.
Like, no spice. I don't want it.
Yep.
I don't write it. I don't want to read it.
If you look at all the reviews on Amazon, because I have a Kindle, I get my books through Amazon. And you read the reviews, they always say something, oh, this one's clean, I'm so happy, blah blah blah. Or they say, no, don't read this one, it's not clean.
Mhm.
Or like, but I have to say, I'll read anything. But if it's not there, it's better.
Mhm. Yeah.
As long, but I at the same time though, I kind of want something that has your interest so much that you don't have to fill it with that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like some
Yes, I agree.
suspense or something like keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Or if you write two characters well enough and their differences and their opinions and their goals, it should be very engaging, a simple conversation that they
Yeah,
have. You shouldn't
yes.
have to see them or imagine them having sex in order to find their relationship engaging.
Exactly.
If it's well written.
Yes, most definitely. And I was telling your mom about Harry Potter. It's like, I can't believe, J.K. Rowling, how did she do it? She was a poor woman in a London cafe or somewhere like that, and she's writing Harry Potter on napkins. She's a billionaire,
What kind of scenes inspire you? For example, I came up with a book based on one of the scenes in Harry Potter.
Okay.
With Lupin and Snape.
Okay.
When Snape comes in, and I think Harry's there, and Snape's angry about something, and Lupin is just calm. He's cool. But they're between them, there's a completely different conversation going on.
Right.
That Harry's completely missing. But their attitudes towards each other, and just knowing that one of them is a werewolf and the other is a Death Eater. Like they have so much behind them, so much that they stand upon, and yet in this small encounter, one of them is able to smile. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. And the other one is just fuming. Barely says any words.
Yeah.
And like gives a message and then leaves, stomps off, slams the door. And I just thought, oh my gosh, that's just delicious. I just love it. So I have come up with a whole book based on that encounter. So two characters kind of in the same, similar,
okay,
but different. So that was something that inspired me. So what has inspired you?
So I don't know that I can be that specific, but I like it when somebody bears their soul, kind of thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Under duress, or like in a heartfelt moment?
Heartfelt moment.
Heartfelt moment.
Yeah. I mean, like somebody's damaged somehow
Mhm.
because
Less
past
damaged.
trauma, right? And then, they might not be together with the person they love because they're so damaged. But
Mhm.
then things come to a head, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because the tension's there. And finally, these two characters get together and hash it all out.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And they, like I said, they bare their soul, like, well, this happened, or I know this is like this because of this, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and then they finally come to an understanding, an agreement, and they move on from there. That's the kind of
So-
thing that I like.
So have you seen While You Were Sleeping?
Yes.
So the moment where she's about to get married and then she says, stop,
Yes.
here's what happened. Like that moment?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, what there was a show. I wish I can remember. It's been a while. Or maybe, well, I guess you know what? I think that's a good one. Um, or maybe, but I can't remember that well though. I'm old. My memory's
It's been a rough year.
yeah.
It's been rough.
There's a movie where the husband dies of cancer, and he leaves all these messages like on video for her. Yes, I mean the whole movie is like right, and she has a heart to heart talk with somebody about this, and it's serious. It's like intense. Like, wow, that's super intense. But then you can take it a lot lighter. For example, Sandra Bullock, when she's gonna marry Ryan Reynolds in the
Mhm. The
proposal,
proposal, yeah.
and she said,
Another altered confession.
right, and she's like, okay, they're gonna get okay. I'm marrying him because I wanted the green card
Mhm.
or the visa to stay in this country, and she leaves, and they're all like,
Now
yeah,
what?
right,
You can't leave.
right, exactly. And then the grandma fakes being sick, so they all go in the plane, and he basically, that moment where he realizes, I love her, I'm gonna go after her, you know what I mean? Just like, and he kind of says it to his father, his mother, and grandma, because they're all right there, and the guy that's the pilot in the plane, he's listening too. So he just bears his soul, says that I love her, or like, I'm gonna go after her, or whatever. And he does. And then he goes to the office, and then next thing you know, they're in the office and in front of everybody.
And their dynamic has completely changed.
Exactly.
Because they've
Exactly.
changed. Oh,
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
so good.
Right?
So good.
Yes.
Okay, so for your story, you want one of those moments.
Yes.
Okay,
Definitely.
so that's probably going to come near the end,
Yes.
right? So we need to build up to that. Is that going to be between two lovers? Because you could have like a buddy cop,
That's true.
because that's the same recipe as a romance. Is you have two people, they hate each other, but they're forced to kind of work with each other, and then turns out we do have an understanding. Oh, we do work well together.
Yeah.
Hey, let's keep being partners.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So but if you like romances, then there's no reason not to stick with a romance.
I have to confess, that's my favorite genre of
So
books.
a big romance trope is enemies to lovers.
Yes.
I am a huge fan.
Yes, me too.
You are? Okay.
Yes, me
so
too.
Is that something you'd kind of like to try out?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So then with that, that kind of a romance, you want conflict is what story is, right?
Right.
So conflict can be between the characters and the setting, like in Dune. That's more of a fiction thing. like
Right.
fantasy, sci-fi,
Right.
which doesn't necessarily need to be in the book.
Right.
Or it could be between two characters or a character in their situation. So you could have, for example, you could have two kids who grew up together, and then the situation pulled them
Drifted
apart.
yes.
And then now they're coming together and they're on completely different sides of a work thing. Maybe one of them is standing up for a building and the other one is there to tear it down and construct something different, you know? So you could have a sort of situational thing where, hey, we used to be friends, but this is weird, but you've caught my attention
Yeah.
and I can't stop thinking about
Right.
you.
Right.
Or you could have something different where they've never met before, something like Goose Girl. Have you read that?
Goose Girl, no.
She's a princess and she's destined to marry a prince, but her handmaid like takes her out and pretends to be her.
Oh.
And is going after the prince. Well, you know, she on the side is in love with this guy. She thinks he's a shepherd. Well, he's not. He's actually the prince. And so it's all twisted around. Shannon Hale. Oh, beautiful story.
I was reading one similar, but because I have to say I like the fantasy, like the vampires and the werewolves and the witches, the whole thing, right? It was a vampire king wanted to marry the human princess of a neighboring, right?
So like a Beauty and the Beast situation.
Right. Will be to avoid war, right?
Oh, okay.
But the king was not a very nice man. And so he switched his daughter with a servant that looked just like her daughter. So the servant is the one that poses as the princess and marries the vampire king.
That's fantastic.
I know, right? It was so, I haven't finished reading it, but but it was so good. It's like, oh my gosh. And where did I leave it? Where she basically confesses to him, hey, I'm not who I said I am.
The soul bearing.
The soul bearing right there. It's like, yes. But yeah, that something like that would be good too.
So with that one, there's a difference in power, right? So you have the vampire, first off, more powerful than a human in several ways, and then he's a king, right? Yeah. So that creates distance between them that you want to close. So that's something you could do. Right. He doesn't even have to be with a king. It could be with a boss. Yeah. Or it could be with a landlord, with a baron, you know. Right. So are you feeling like going into fantasy?
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Okay. Fantasy is just fun.
Yes, exactly, too. And you can invent whatever and it can go because, well, it's fantasy after all.
Yeah, I think you can have more. I have a hard time with contemporary stories. There are a few I enjoy, but most of the time, give me fantasy. I want no more of this.
I have to say, I've read there's this lady, I think all her books are like this, where you have a simple, smart girl, not very well-to-do, but she's smart and she's got dedication by miracle of miracles, right? That goes to work at some big corporate office and for this man that a lot of times is famous in town because he's powerful, he's rich,
a contemporary king,
right? Exactly. But come to find out, he's biggest a-hole there is, right? And anyways, and all the demands that he puts on the girl because she's his assistant, his secretary, whatever, right? Like, well, I expect you to give me iron my shirt or get my shirt at 3 a.m. You need to bring it by because I need it by 5 or whatever. You know what I mean? Things that seem seemed very ridiculous. But then somehow she tames the guy and they end up together.
A Beauty and the Beast
Yeah,
story.
exactly.
I love those.
Exactly.
Not all of them, but many of them.
Yeah.
Are you
That's
a
a
big fan of
classic.
those? It's a classic for a reason.
Yeah, it's a classic.
So let's see. What's another? Often people like imagine, at least for me, for sure, I imagine or I grab onto lots of little scenes or ideas from different stories, and I just love them. And I replay them over and over again in my head, and I imagine them in different ways. So when you're writing a book, something you can do is combine some.
Right.
So you have the now we have the Beauty and the Beast idea, which whether or not you
Right.
stick to it, it's fine. But
Right.
just to play with it for now,
Right.
the Beauty and the Beast story plus a soul-bearing confession.
Right.
Okay, there's a lot we could do there. Who would be bearing their soul? So you can kind of work backwards. So the soul bearing is at the end of the story.
Right.
And if we know it's kind of a Beauty and the Beast story, we know
Right.
that the Beast has changed and Beauty has become more powerful, or they're now on the same level,
Yeah.
whereas they were not before.
Right. Right.
So who is bearing their soul? Because in that one, in the servant who was supposed to be a princess,
right.
she's the one bearing her soul.
Right.
Well, with the boss,
because she's the one deceiving the vampire king. But see, like with the boss, him being the tough guy, you know, the king, the man, you know, I would think it'd be better if it comes from him.
Okay. So what is he confessing? Is he lying?
No, perhaps that he's just another human being with flaws like anybody else. That all this facade of I'm tough guy, you know, I do it to protect myself, something of the sort. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, or some girl hurt me before and I just don't trust anybody anymore, but I trust you now. You know, something along those lines.
Okay.
I mean, if that works, I don't know.
It definitely does. It for sure does. That's great. So we would want to know why, in order to make him consistent, why is he the way he is? So distrustful of women because of past relationships.
Right. I mean, that I think that's I feel like that's a big part of the story. Everybody has their issues. Everybody has their story, their own story, right? Like sometimes I've read books where they have one chapter on one character and they'll describe this person in detail. So sometimes say, hey, their whole story, or glimpses. Actually, most of the time, take that back. Most of the time, you have glimpses because they'll be remembering
flashbacks,
right? Or they'll be talking to somebody, yeah, and then they remember something, or something happens that kind of is parallel to what happened to them before. So you get your current situation, and then it says 5 years in the past or 10 years in the past, some time, you know, some break like that, and then you have a whole story of what happened back then. So like I read one that I just got done reading it. Or no, am I still reading it? I'm still reading it. It's on one of these apps that you can read a chapter a day or every 3 hours for free, unless you want to pay money and read the chapters. It's like, I ain't paying money, I'll wait a day. Anyways, I almost think that I might have that book in Kindle, so I need to look. Where this guy, he's super smart, like number smart. He can do a Rubik's cube in 2 seconds. That kind of smart, you know what I mean? So he was poor. His mother was poor, obviously. But apparently nobody knew till like he was a teenager. His father was the owner of the the only car manufacturer in town. So he was a powerful,
He was
rich
a big
man.
fish. Mhm.
Yes, he is a big fish. But anyways, nobody knew. But she got sick with cancer. So and she didn't want to leave him hanging, and there was no other family. So she basically said, "Hey, your dad is so and so." Wrote a letter. She committed suicide. I know, right? Because she was in pain and towards the end of cancer. I mean, this whole
Well,
sad thing, right?
Yeah, that's
Which we don't. I mean, if say we, for example, use something like that, we don't have to go to those extremes. But anyways, and that the fact that she killed herself left a mark on him, right? The fact that this man is now his father left a mark on him because the man is not nice at all. He goes to get him, right? And the only reason he goes with him is A, because he had nowhere else to go, and B, because his mother wrote a letter before she left saying, I want you to go with your father. And they had done a DNA test and everything to prove that he was actually this guy's son. So he spent some time in his father's house, but he would call himself the bastard because he didn't feel welcome. In fact, the grandma didn't want him there. And anyways, but he ended up at Harvard. He got a good education and he went to work for the competing car company. Right? And then he meets this girl that works with his father. And the only reason he works with his father is because the father bought this girl's dad company or something, so they're involved because of business. So they get involved, and while they're involved, there's trust issues. Because he's like, well, I love you, I want you, but you work for my father. How can I trust you? In this back and forth. And she's like, well, how do I trust you not to leave me or not to do this or not to do that? And things get intense because the main character has a half brother, which is the son of the car mogul, right? But there's some which they haven't revealed yet, but it seems that they're doing something fishy that's not going well, and they're about to get caught. So they're making moves against the illegitimate son and this other girl. And it's like, oh my gosh. I don't know. There's so many things. I mean, I can have all kinds of thoughts and they're all jumbled in there. I can go on forever. Do you know what I mean? All kinds of things. It can go any kind of way. Because when I was thinking of writing a book, I thought, well, I'm going to start with a character that is in an orphanage.
Okay.
We're going to start as a team in an orphanage. And then I thought, well, going to add the element of fantasy. This person's going to find out they have some superpower of some kind. And then you're going to find out later that his parents were somebody kind of like Superman, like his parents were important people. They had a lot of power, but they died. The explosion in their planet and all that. That's what I thought. And I thought, well, do I start with a bang, with something big, and then kind of work backwards? Or do I start with setting everything up and then boom, something big happens? But what? I mean, like I said, all kinds of ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, and the hard thing with people like us who we go to the art store and we're like, oh,
yeah,
I need that. I'm
yes.
getting it and I'm going to use it.
Even if you don't.
Even if you don't, with stories, you can grab too much at once.
Yes.
And try to stuff it into a
Yes,
book. That's what I did with my
exactly.
first book.
Exactly.
For sure. I wanted it to be a heist, mystery, romance. Yes, that.
Well, see,
Enemies to
I
lovers.
think that's like the James Bonds. I mean, I never heard or read any of the books, but I've watched the movies.
Yes.
And they're very complex.
They are very complex, which is why I don't suggest
Oh, no,
try to do it for the first book.
I wouldn't do it. No.
Well, and I mean, certainly trying to do it, the best thing is to write, even if you're like, oh my gosh, this was a horrible idea afterwards, but try it.
Try it.
You know?
Yeah, gotta do it. Keep doing it. I know.
It's just like these. Okay, just try the color. Try the chalk. Just try it.
Try it. Yep.
Because soon you have a full book.
Yeah.
And you're able to say, oh, look, this is when I tried this thing. Oh,
Yeah.
this is when I started shading. And you can see the progress.
Yeah.
So
But the enemies to lovers or friends or whatever, I like that. That's a good one. That keeps you interested in your toes and on your edge of your seat sometimes. So yeah, I think I'm good with that.
well, really, in order to plan a book, you need like 2 characters.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you need 2 characters. You need to know either the beginning, the middle, or the end.
Okay.
Two of the 3.
So when you're writing a book, do you think this is what's going to happen? I mean, like, this is the major event. And then you kind of go around that, or do you kind of like gradually, okay, if this happens and this will happen and this will happen?
There's lots of different ways.
Oh, okay.
The way I write a book, the way I plan a book is a lot like the way I write a book. So some people will sit down and say, okay, for the next 3 hours, I'm typing on my keyboard. I can't handle that.
Yeah.
So
no,
I go
can't
on
either.
walks and I dictate. So I don't know if you've seen me in the neighborhood. I look like I'm talking to myself and I'm crazy because I have my phone in my pocket and I'm telling a story while I'm walking my kids and the dog.
Okay.
So and what I mean by that in comparison is people will say, oh, I want this huge thing. Let me sit down and write this huge chunk.
Right.
Whereas for me, and not for everyone, for me, it's like, oh, I love this little thing. Let me stitch it close to this other little thing. Clip them together. Okay, I like this. I like this character. I like this Lupin feel, this tragic,
right,
powerful, but vulnerable feel. Okay, so we're gonna stitch that into a character here.
And then he dies.
And I know.
I know. I was mad too.
The one person I was mad about dying. Anyway,
him and the
matter.
twins
Twins
and Tonks, because Tonks and Lupin were together. So
I know.
Yeah,
They're
and
fake.
Dumbledore.
It doesn't matter. It's over.
It's over. Yes.
But a really great way to write a story from the beginning is to, okay, what are the scenes that inspire you?
Okay.
Really look into it, kind of pull it apart and examine the parts. Is it the bearing of the soul? I love how you said that, because that's a very distinct moment. Yeah. A confession. Yes. So there's been a deception. You want there to have been a deception. Yes. And then there's a confession there. And those are really good. And that works with a lot of common tropes that people like: enemies to lovers, Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, this is all good information, because one of my problems is like, I have no guidance. I have no clue, because I can just start writing something. And I've written, like, I remember when I was in school, but it's like a million years ago.
I wrote some story, and I even earned like got some prize money
Oh wow.
for it. Like I can't be that bad if I get some money. Right.
Right.
So, but yeah.
It's just for a novel, it's a big compromise. And so
Yeah.
beforehand, what you want to be sure of is that you're not going to get bored and quit,
Yes.
because the middle part is the hard part to get through. And you need to make
Yes.
sure that you have something that you're excited for, which is
Yes.
why, okay, what has inspired you? What just plays in your mind over and over again, and you just sit there and enjoy it? Or the scenes in a movie that you rewind and watch over and over again.
Yes.
What are those? So figure out what they are
Okay.
to bribe yourself to write them,
Okay.
because you're already passionate about it. It's going to come through the words. Your reader is going to feel that passion. So
Right.
let's find out what you're passionate about, and let's stitch it together with other things that you love,
Yeah.
and let's make that your story.
Okay.
So I don't think it works for everyone, but yes, so that's, we can talk about it more later, but that's just a nibble, a sample of Book Boot Camp. So
good information.
good information. We're going to get your book written. And actually, it's the first 5 weeks are planning your book. And after the first 5 weeks, you have the first scene written. You have like 3 versions of the ending if you're not sure how it's going to end. There's 3 versions that you'll have written, and you'll have a middle scene finished as well.
Okay.
Before you even start writing the novel. So you already know, oh, there's my goal.
Okay.
And I just have to step in, fill in a few steps to there.
So when you're planning a book, do you like, is it kind of like a course outline in the way? What I mean by that is like, okay, you write, okay, the name of your character and what is he like, and then you write the next, so you just kind of make a list, or no.
Yeah. My main objective when writing a book is to get it out of my head and onto paper. Anything like, oh, what's the name I like? Oh, I like this weird
You
name.
know, I've been, there's so many times I think, oh, that'd be great in a book, but I don't write it down, and
then it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, just get them out. People often are so caught up like, oh, I have this huge book idea. And then they start talking to someone about it, and turns out it's maybe the same 6 ideas over and over.
Yeah.
That are in like 6 different colors, let's say, 6 different versions of the same idea. And they didn't even realize it, their mind was full.
Right.
But it's actually, it can be trimmed down. Oh, here's what you're actually thinking of. Yeah. And then you get it on paper, and however many notebooks you need to actually spit it out of your mind. And then you see it, and oh, actually, condense is this, 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 and this. Oh, okay, I could probably do this if I add this one character who does that thing. Oh, then I have an enemy, I have a villain. Oh, okay, this character I can have with this friend that comes in this place. This other thing happens. Okay, there's our ending. Boom. And it actually fits perfectly. But it has to be, you have to talk about it and spout it out, and then figure out where the real flavor is and pull it out and save it with the other flavors, and then plan. So
gotcha.
You do that at Book Boot Camp. Sign up if you want to write a book. Link below. Anyway, anything else with art? Any other things we should chat about?
You know what? I think I keep hearing this over and over. The more you do, the better you get at it. Kind of like what you're saying with the writing of the book. You keep writing, you just keep writing it, even if you don't feel like it, because eventually it's going to turn out just fine. And I think the same thing applies to drawing and coloring and watercolors, anything like that. Just keep doing it till you get better. But yeah, that's, I guess.
And there's an ugly stage for everything.
Oh, of course. You know, and there's nothing wrong with owning to your not so good looking stuff.
The smudges.
Yeah, the smudges or things that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that.
Look at it.
Hey, accidents
It's
happen.
horrible.
Accidents
Ah.
happen. Definitely. I mean, I feel like somebody that understands because my husband, bless his heart, he's a good man and he's like supportive, but he's not on the same train of thought, I guess. He's not into art. He's not into writing. He's into other things. But we make it work.
Mhm.
But and nobody else seems to be that interested as I am. Because I really want to get better at drawing. I want to get better at coloring. I want to get like really good. And if I can make a book too, or write a book, gravy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I sometimes I feel like, I mean, it's a matter of organizing everything. Because I told you, there's so many thoughts and they're all swimming in there. It's like I could make something out of this. It's creativity, I
Mhm.
guess that
They're all in there.
they're all in there.
Just
Yeah.
need to be organized. Guys, sign up for book boot camp. Don't miss out. It starts October 1st. So let's get your book written. Sign up. Even if you don't know what you want to write about. If you know you want to write a book by the end of the year, sign up. Please subscribe and comment below with how you plan your books. Let me know. Thanks. Bye.